Starting July 1st, some people on Medicare may be able to get certain GLP-1 weight loss drugs for just $50 a month. But here's the part a lot of headlines are skipping. Not everyone qualifies. Not every GLP-1 drug is included. And this is not the same as regular Medicare Part D coverage. If you've been hearing people talk about Wegovy, Zepbound, Ozempic, or the new Medicare GLP-1 program, this is where the details really matter. This is Medicare, minus the headache. And in this video, I'm going to break this down in plain English. What changed, which drugs are included, who may qualify, and what people should not assume. For years, Medicare generally did not cover drugs used only for weight loss. Now, CMS is launching a temporary program called the Medicare GLP-1 Bridge. It begins July 1st, 2026, and is currently scheduled to run through December 31st, 2027. And this part is important. CMS says the bridge operates outside the normal Medicare Part D coverage and payment flow. So this is not just a regular Part D update. It's a separate, temporary pathway with its own rules. As of right now, the drugs listed in the Medicare GLP-1 Bridge are Foundayo, Wegovy, and Zepbound KwikPen. That last part matters. Not every Zepbound version is included. The current Medicare materials say Zepbound single-dose vials and single-dose pens are not included in the bridge. And just as important, Ozempic is not listed as a bridge drug for weight loss, and Mounjaro is not listed either. So when people say Medicare covers GLP-1 drugs now, that sounds simple, but it's actually much narrower than that. Now let's talk about the number everybody is paying attention to. The current CMS and Medicare materials say eligible beneficiaries may be able to get these covered bridge drugs for $50 for a monthly supply. That sounds straightforward, but don't treat it like standard Part D cost sharing. Because again, this program operates outside the normal Part D flow. So the headline is real, $50 a month for a monthly supply. But the structure is different from the usual way your Part D benefits work. Now here's the question most people actually care about. Who qualifies? The careful answer is this. You need to have Medicare drug coverage, and you need to meet the program's rules. Medicare says beneficiaries should talk with their doctor to determine whether one of these medications is appropriate, and prior authorization is part of the process. So this is not something where you just hear about it online, call the pharmacy, and expect it to go through. Your doctor has to be involved. And Medicare also makes clear that this program is not for every situation involving a GLP-1 drug. If a drug is being prescribed for a use that is already coverable under regular Part D, that may be handled differently. So the real takeaway is this. Having Medicare does not automatically mean you qualify. Wanting the medication does not automatically mean the $50 applies. And hearing that a drug is covered does not mean your situation fits the bridge rules. Here's what I would not assume. First, do not assume every GLP-1 drug is included. Second, do not assume Ozempic and Wegovy are interchangeable for Medicare coverage purposes just because people talk about them in the same conversation. Third, do not assume every version of Zepbound is included. Right now, the bridge materials specifically point to Zepbound KwikPen, not every formulation. Fourth, do not assume this is permanent. Medicare says this bridge is temporary and currently runs through the end of 2027. And fifth, do not assume this works exactly like regular Part D. This is where people get frustrated fast because they hear one exciting headline and fill in the rest themselves. Let me put this as simply as I can. If you're asking, does Medicare cover Wegovy? That may be a different answer than, does Medicare cover Ozempic? And that may be a different answer than, do I qualify for the Medicare GLP-1 Bridge? Those are not all the same question. The drug matters. The formulation matters. The reason it's prescribed matters. And the way it gets processed matters. That's very Medicare. And honestly, it's why so many people feel overwhelmed. It's not that you're missing something obvious. It's that the rules are rarely explained in a way that actually makes sense. So what should you do next if you think this might apply to you? Start with your doctor. Ask whether one of the drugs currently included in the Medicare GLP-1 Bridge is medically appropriate for you. Then ask one very specific question. Would this be processed through regular Part D or through the Medicare GLP-1 Bridge? That question matters. And if you're not sure whether your current Medicare drug coverage is set up the right way, this is also a good time to review your coverage instead of making assumptions based on headlines. Because with Medicare, the small print tends to matter more than the big promises. So here's the bottom line. Yes, Medicare is opening a new path for some beneficiaries to get certain GLP-1 weight loss drugs starting July 1st, 2026. Yes, the current headline number is $50 a month for a monthly supply. But no, this is not broad automatic coverage for everyone. And no, this is not the same thing as regular Part D drug coverage. I have the full breakdown on RobinsWisdom.com. If you want more Medicare updates like this, subscribe and I'll keep you posted. And that's Medicare minus the headache. See you in the next one.